There's a good set of horns. He's a shooter, or is he? Let's talk a little bit about assessing the trophy potential of a bull Tahr, his horn length, before we pull the trigger. If we look at the set of horns here, in reality, he's only a 10-inch bull, okay, 4 years old. I wonder how many people would have shot him if they'd seen him running around the hill. Let's have a closer look at these horns and some others to learn to judge horns correctly. This guy here, if we have a close look at his horns, first thing I'm going to look at is his bases, and of course you're going to look at these from the side. If you notice at the back here, he curves directly from the bases, okay? He doesn't go straight up at all. There's curve immediately from the base. Okay, this is the first indication to me that he's a younger bull. He's tapering from the base immediately. If you're lucky enough to be that close, you can count the growth rings. Although these will tell you the age of the animal, it's not going to tell you his overall length. This guy here, each ring we can see represents a year's growth, except for the last tip, which is the first year and a half of life. Okay, so this guy's tapering right from the bottom immediately. You can see if we look at him straight on, okay, quite a gap through here. Okay, doesn't have a lot of mass. I mean, the gut feeling of this guy is, apart from his body size, which will be substantially smaller than a mature bull, that he's just well before his potential. One to leave alone and to look for in a couple more years' time. If we look at him straight on from the top, we'll see his main ridge comes up and the tips point straight back. Okay, as he gets older, the tips will start to hook in, and we'll see them on some other horns in a minute. Let's have a look at some more horns. Let's move up another inch. The horns on your left, 11-inch bull. From the side, if we look at this guy, look at the bases, we've got about half an inch up from the bases before he starts to taper. Okay, it's quite obvious here. If we look at him from the front, the tips haven't kicked in yet. Starting to get a bit tight in through the middle. But just looking at him, we can see really he just doesn't have a lot of mass yet. Animal like this should be around 5 years old. Now we're getting into the type of horns we should be looking at more closely. This guy here is 11 3/4. If we look at him, we can see he's starting to get quite a bit of mass in through here. He's probably going up an inch before he starts to curve at the back. If we look at him from the front, okay, just starting to kick in now. You can see the good mass again. Look how prominent his growth rings are. Easy to count each of the rings and age this bull accurately. If you get a set of horns like this in your binoculars, you better put them down quick and grab your rifle. He's a beauty, this guy. 13.5 inches long. If we look at the side now from the bases, we can see how far he goes up before he starts to curve. A very good solid mass in the bases. Okay, he's going up about that far before he starts to curve. Pretty obvious that this guy's a shooter. I like to say that if it looks like that you've stacked horns on top of horns, like a stack of paper cups, then you're into a good one there. This guy here, very prominent growth rings as well. If we look at him from the top, we can see he curves in at the tips. This is the heart shape that we talk about. Very obvious in these older mature bulls. A bull like this will be 8.5 years plus. A big difference between a 10-inch bull, 11, 11 3/4, and a 13.5. If we don't shoot the 10-inch bulls, then we'll be looking at shooting something like this in the years to come.